Hi, I'm Megan, and I'm going to be playing 20 questions about Jupiter.
How long is a Jupiter day?
Jupiter's average day is about 9 hours and 50 minutes. That makes it our fastest rotating planet in the solar system.
How long is a Jupiter year then?
Jupiter's average year is 11.8 Earth years, and it's about 5.2 AU from the Sun.
So how big is Jupiter really?
Jupiter is massive. It's about 2.5 times more massive than all of the other planets combined. Its diameter is 11 times larger than Earth's, and its volume is 1,400 times bigger.
Does the diameter of Jupiter always remain constant?
Because Jupiter spins so fast, its diameter actually isn't constant. According to NASA, the equatorial radius is 71,492 kilometers, but the polar radius is actually 66,854 kilometers.
Does Jupiter have seasons?
Jupiter actually doesn't have seasons. Its axis only tilts at 3.13 degrees, so the effects that Earth experiences from its tilt towards the Sun are negligible on Jupiter.
Is Jupiter hot or cold?
Jupiter's actually both. Just like Earth, the closer to the core you get, the hotter it becomes. The outside clouds of Jupiter are about negative 145 degrees Celsius or negative 234 degrees Fahrenheit. But Jupiter's core can be 24,000 degrees Celsius or 43,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
What is the atmospheric composition of Jupiter?
Jupiter's atmosphere is mostly hydrogen and helium, but studies predict that there's also ammonia, ammonium hydrosulfide, and water.
How was Jupiter even formed in the first place?
All of the gas giants have a relatively small core, which is ice-rich. These are the planetesimals from which the planets formed. They collected a bunch of hydrogen and helium from the solar nebula, and that's how they became gas giants.
How many moons does Jupiter have, and why does it have so many?
Jupiter has 53 named moons and 14 unnamed, and there's even more out there that we just haven't discovered or haven't classified as moons yet. Its most well-known and seen are the Galilean satellites, Io, Europa, Callisto, and Ganymede. Jupiter's large size generates a strong gravitational field, and the gas giants can do atmosphere capturing more easily than other planets, so they generate a lot more moons.
Why does Io have volcanoes?
Io is about the size of our moon, but it's under a much larger gravitational force. It's close to Jupiter, which makes the planet's gravitational force effects significantly different from either side of the moon. But also, Jupiter's pulling on it on one side, and the other 3 prominent moons are pulling from the other, which stretches and deforms the planet, but it also allows it to rotate instead of facing one direction towards Jupiter, like our moon.
Does Jupiter have rings?
Jupiter actually has 4 rings that were discovered by Voyager 1. They're made up of thin dust particles and are hard to be seen, but they're there.
How big is the Great Red Spot?
The Great Red Spot is about 2 to 3 times the size of our Earth. It measures about 20,000 kilometers by 12,000 kilometers.
How long has the Great Red Spot been around?
We don't have an exact age of the Great Red Spot because it's been around for centuries, but it was first seen and documented in the 17th century.
Is the Great Red Spot hot or cold?
Much like Jupiter itself, the Great Red Spot also changes in temperature. The outside clouds are cold since air rises with the vortex and then expands and cools, but the inside core is hot.
Why is the Great Red Spot red?
Scientists assume that the Great Red Spot's color comes from chemicals being broken up by sunlight. As for what those chemicals are, we can only assume that it's ammonium hydrosulfide because there's no specific spectral signature that we can find yet that matches it.
Which NASA missions have visited Jupiter, and what were they collecting?
So 8 NASA missions have visited Jupiter. There's Pioneer 10, Pioneer Saturn, Voyager 1, Voyager 2, Ulysses, Galileo, Cassini, and New Horizons. The Ulysses, Cassini, and New Horizons missions all flew by Jupiter as they were going to other planets and locations, but they decided to collect data while they were on their way. These missions studied the moons, the rings, the atmosphere of Jupiter, but they also took up close-up images of its features.
What is differential rotation, and why does Jupiter have it?
Differential rotation is an effect where the sections of an object rotate at their own angular speed. This happens with Jupiter because it's a gaseous planet. The different bands and zones on different latitudes rotate at their own speeds. and that's why it doesn't have a constant rotation.
So how fast do the poles rotate?
As I said before, Jupiter's average day is 9 hours and 50 minutes, but because of differential rotation's effects, there's actually a 5-minute difference between the equator and the poles.
How is the rotation of Jupiter measured?
Because Jupiter has differential rotation, it's hard to measure the actual planet's features and see what the average rotation is of Jupiter. We use its large magnetic field and measure its magnetosphere speed, which gives us a little under 10 hours.
Could Jupiter become a star?
People call Jupiter a failed star. Scientists predict that if it became 80 times more massive, then it could start undergoing nuclear fusion. But that's not going to happen anytime soon, so it's just going to be a planet from now on. But studies predict that the clouds also have ammonia. It's my new element I've created.
It's a new Disney character.
Oh, that does sound like Disney. That's it, we're gonna make an astronomy Disney princess. She'll be the best, okay.